Hi, this is Coach Chuck again with the National Free Flight Society, and I'm going to give you a brief discussion on how to build a two-spec box for carrying your helicopter or airplane for Science Olympiad events. This will focus on the 2025 helicopter, so the box outer dimensions are 47 by 32 by 24 centimeters. And the entire box needs to fit in that, but a lid does not have to be included. To start off, we're going to use a piece of foam board. That's a board that is 2 layers of paper with foam sandwiched in between. This is available at your local Hobby Lobby. This is a 3/16 inch thick by 32 by 40 foam board, available for $9, and it will just fit this year's box. We will start by measuring out all the dimensions onto the board, and this is a PDF diagram of the layout that I use. The red lines in the middle indicate the base of the box, and then the black lines on the edges indicate the sides and the top, the ends of the box. And these will be folded away from us in this image. So we'll cut through the red lines, just one layer, and cut all the way through the black lines. These dimensions will give you a maximum sized box. If you want a little more margin for measurement, if you're not perfect on making this, make each dimension a millimeter or two smaller. It's important that you lay this out accurately. Use a straight edge and a square and fine line Sharpie markers to lay this out, and that way you'll get an accurate layout. The red lines form the base of the unit only, and those will be cut halfway through, just the first layer of paper, so that we can fold up. And then the flaps here are black. Those will be cut all the way through eventually. So we'll set up to cut. We do have the curved side concave up, so that when these sides fold down away from us here, they'll actually bow into the middle rather than bowing out. Ideally, you'll use a straight edge that's about 2 inches wide, so you have plenty of room to grip on it, and at least 3 feet long. This one's 4 feet long, available from Harbor Freight, and a utility knife with a brand new blade, so we can cut cleanly and not struggle against the cuts. Notice the lines that I made are fairly fine. I used a fine line Sharpie, not the larger Sharpie, so I can get a very accurate line and there's no ambiguity as to where to cut. Okay, we've placed the straight edge as close as possible to the line, and we're going to take the knife blade and making sure it's held vertical against the straight edge. We're just going to make a light cut. We're trying to cut through the first layer of paper. We're not trying to go through everything. At that point, you can take the foam board and just bend it where you cut it, and it'll break the foam the rest of the way through, but it doesn't break the paper on the second side. Now, where we had black lines, we can then come into the crevice here and cut the second side of paper. Like that. It might be easier from the other side. That's a lot easier. Just watching where your lines are, and that completes the cut. So we've got one cut done. We'll go ahead and do the rest of the cuts. These outer black lines and this inner red line, and they have a step in there, so we have to be careful where we're cutting. I'll line up the straight edge on the black lines, and we'll go ahead and cut again just through one layer of the paper for now. And then we'll shift to the red line. The red, remember, is just going to be folded up, so it's very important that you only cut through the first layer here. Now, as we did before, we can bend where we have a black line, and that piece is going to come off completely. We will just cut down from the back side right in the valley there, and that board comes off. This side as well was a black line. Just cut in the valley to get the second side of the paper off. And then where we cut the red line, we just flex it back. We have a hinge here. And now we got 3 of our sides cut. We got 1 more side to cut, and then we have the excess to trim off on these edges. Now that we've completed all the cuts, all the black lines have been cut through. We have the outline of the box, and the red lines have been cut half through, and they fold away from us here. We can turn the whole box over, and now you'll see the end panels come up and overlap the edge of the side panels, and that will become our glue line. So we're going to use hot melt glue, and we want to put a bead on the paper, not the foam, because it will immediately melt the foam. We're going to put a bead of hot melt right along the paper here. And we bring it up, make sure that corner matches, and then we'll put a piece of clear packing tape around the corner just to hold it in place while that glue dries. Then we can repeat the same on the opposite diagonal corner here. So we got 2 of the corners done, and now we're going to come in, kind of open this corner just a little bit, get our glue gun in there, and get another bead of glue, again on the end plate, not the side plate. And push the side plate into the glue. Tape to hold it, and one last corner. Now we just double check our dimensions. Across the middle we got 2 millimeters under 47, that's great. Across the side we're right at 32. 32, we should be good there. And on height we're right at 24. So it looks like we're just fine on the box dimensions. It's pushing it to the max. Got a nice sturdy box. If you want, you can come in with a piece of packing tape on each corner, and especially these bottom corners where all you got is the piece of paper holding it, and that'll finish out your box. Next, we need some foam stands to support the helicopter. This is some EPP foam taken from electronics or computer or TV or something like that, and just cut to shape. I use a saw. You can use scissors. It cuts pretty easily. The reason I have this tapered top here is so it fits between the truss wires of the helicopter. And then we have a slot cut down the middle to actually grip the helicopter. So we'll take the narrow end and we'll slide that into the helicopter and slide it toward the top until it just touches the truss wires. We don't need it to deflect the truss wires. Take the bottom one and do the same. We don't want to go too far away from the middle. And we've cut the height of this so it'll fit pretty well in the box. We cut a nice deep slot so we can push it in further if we need to. Now we're going to trial fit it in our box. Make sure everything fits in the way it's held. And everything looks good. So now we're going to glue these stands to the base of the box. Just going to put some hot melt glue on the bottom of the foam. And then quickly lower it into the box while the helicopter's in it. Come over here so you can see down in the box. Push them against the bottom of the box and hold them in place until the glue sets up. Okay. So now our helicopter is mounted in the box and the top rotor just touches the bottom. The bottom rotor just touches the sides. And if we look across, we should see that it fits fine in the box. If it does stick up just a little bit here, what you can do is come in and carve a little hole for the bottom tips of the rotor to go into the bottom of the box. You've got about 4 millimeters there. You could take off the inner layer of paper and some of the foam to dig out a space. This corner is sticking out maybe 1 millimeter. So that should give you a box that fits your helicopter tightly and will meet the rules for the measurement box. It does not include a lid. The rules don't require a lid. If you use this for transport, make a lid out of cardboard and make some small spacers on each corner to hold the lid a little off the top so that you don't crush the helicopter if it's tightly fit into the box. Hope this helps.